Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Kyle Wright 425 podcast. I am your host, Kyle Wright. As always, I am joined by my co-host, Eric.
What's up?
And we are very happy to have you guys tonight and to talk with you about our favorite YouTubers. But before then, we just want to let you know that if you have not followed us on Spotify yet, we highly encourage that you do. And then secondly, that if you're watching us on YouTube, because we have the cameras and such so you can see what's going on, as we've talked about before. I'm wiggling my arms. You can't see this on Spotify. So I'm going to find a visual thing to refer to every time just to entice them to go. So how many fingers am I holding up? You got to find out. So no, peace. I was saying peace. No. Essentially, yeah, we just want to be sure that you guys are following us on Spotify. And then also, if you have not done so already on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell.
Absolutely.
And you can find all the ways to support us in the link in the description and everything else. But until then, your views, likes, and your subscriptions are enough. So just thank you for checking us out and, enjoying what we do. So that's
man,
really
you
awesome.
always do that really well. Like he never like rehearses this or anything like beforehand. That is 100% just him doing it the first time.
It's honestly, it's just, I've watched YouTube so much, and which is fun now that we actually have an episode that we're talking about YouTube, and it's like, cause that's essentially what like, it's what we post on. It's what we, want to build, our brand and everything, that comes with that. Definitely. And it's like, how many times are we down here late at night watching YouTube videos? It is what lot. It is. Like, while the world sleeps, we watch YouTube videos.
Well, and it's funny that you talk about like us coming down here and, watching the channels and stuff that we do, because we were just briefly talking about it upstairs. What I wanted to actually mention is to the followers and stuff, is that I'm a little old school when it comes to YouTube. I am kind of new when it comes to the actual like channels, if you will. I used YouTube for strictly music. Yeah. So I recently, when I say recently, I would say probably 3 years ish is when I kind of branched out a little bit, because I looked something up and I was like, oh, that looks funny, or, whatever. And I would, for that, or just even like comedians. And then I just started liking some of the stuff that I was watching. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is what people do now. Mm-hmm. And but some of the stuff you've shown me personally is some of the, and we're going to get into that tonight, is some of the best things I've ever seen. And
wow, thank you.
I'm
happy that you enjoy it, man.
It's so amazing, and it's kind of kickstarted. Like, again, I did something tonight, that'll be coming on mine. It's very raw.
I've gotten the sneak peek of it, and it is fantastic. It's nothing fancy. It's not, you guys don't have like, so it's extraordinary setup. It's just, but it didn't need it. Like, no. It just that, and that's the beauty of it. So
I apologize. Yes, my mouth. If you see me doing that on the clips here, it's because I did a very, 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 very hot wing challenge, and my mouth is still kind of on fire. Yeah. So yeah, I apologize. I'm not trying to be gross.
I've seen the footage. It's legit. He has every right to rub his lips as much as he wants to after what I saw. So I only saw a snippet. So
but no. Anyways, so that being said, is that the whole favorite YouTubers. I apologize if they seem very new, like
right,
like I guess quote popular things, but it's what I like, and they're popular for a reason, I feel. Yeah. So. How do you want to start off then? Like, how do you want to do this?
I know exactly how I want to start. I want to start with talking about the lost rabbit holes of YouTube that have forever disappeared.
Okay.
To kind of show the way that I evolved on this platform, because I talked about it a lot on my friend Jackson's podcast, which is the Popcorn Space, which if you guys have not checked out his channel, he has actually been able to interview a lot of people, including like the lead singer of the Christian band Third Day. So, so he's like, he has been able to get his feet wet, and everything, and, talk with, some really extraordinary people. It's really awesome. But, him and I kind of reminisced on like just the glory days of YouTube. Like, there was a time when YouTube actually had messaging. when you could send messages to fellow, YouTubers like, hey, do you want to collab? Do you want to do this? And for whatever reason, they took it away. But I got exposed into YouTube around the time that the huge resurgence of atheism came around. And that's like when the Seth MacFarlanes and the Richard Dawkins and all those different guys and stuff, really, really took over that medium. And there was a lot of Christian YouTubers I watched because at that time I was very active in the church. And, I was watching, The Amazing Atheist, ironically, because it was like, which ironically he will be coming up later in this thing. You know exactly who I'm going to be bringing up with that. But, dude, there are so many videos that I have seen that I know for a fact I can't find again, because it was at a time before YouTube became so corporate, and it's like that's the really interesting thing is like I've essentially seen it evolve or devolve over time, and now it's evolving again, into the future.
Do you agree with the fact that like with me and you, and even like your channel just in general, like, you're not necessarily trying to be like YouTube famous or anything. Like, that would be nice to make money off of it. Like,
without a doubt.
Like, you know, to maybe even like not have to work at a real job. But to me, like, the channel that I'm going to have, and then even this is just because it's fun. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with me trying to be famous.
I mean,
I'd
be lying if I said that I didn't hope I'd make a buck. I mean, but in the same hand, it's one of those things where, like, for instance, the gentleman I was talking to tonight on Skype, there's some YouTubers that I'm more than likely going to be collaborating with that are
awesome.
They're in some pretty high caliber. I'm not going to drop names. I'm not doing that, but just like I'll announce it when I know for a fact things are happening. But, they were, making it very clear, like, hey, we just want to chill and just talk. Mm-hmm. We want to talk about, whether or not it's film or we talk about video games, like whatever. We just want to talk about whatever we want to talk about. And you seem like you're just a really cool guy, and we just want to chat. And one of them in particular is a YouTuber that I have followed for a while that's up to the 60,000, range of subscribers. Mm-hmm. Like he's done very well for himself. And super, super nice guy, which is nice, that exists on this platform. That not everybody's just a husk, but
no shit.
But the thing is that I told them I would never in my life place a paycheck on that or an expectant or the idea of that, like, because they were even like, well, we'll plug your channel and like we're going to be, doing something that's like on 100K subscribers. Like, like that's going to be the kind of thing that, the exposure we want to get you. I love that.
Yeah.
What I love more is having conversations with other nerds. What I love is like,
it had nothing to do with the fact they could have had 10 subscribers.
No, it's like, I love that, man. And what I have found too is that on this platform is that a lot of things are very, very hit and miss. But for instance, like the message we got about depression, which I did want to actually correct myself in that, because I thought that you were talking about somebody else. It was in fact the person you thought that it was.
I know.
But I was just making that statement here where it's like I'm cleaning up my mess essentially. No, so
I'm like, right, Kyle. I'm always right. Come on,
that's right. Mom even said that you're the favorite. So, but you
guys heard it because
she admitted it a couple years ago. So,
but I'm just saying it came out of your mouth now too.
She had you like at the end of high school though. Like you're special. Like it's like you're like the first. Like you were like the I
was the first fuck up.
Well, I mean, we're all fuck ups, but so and many different calibers. But it's so interesting to me to see just the way that this platform works and like, how everything goes down, especially because, a lot of people associate your success with the amount of subscribers that you have. And to a degree that is true. However, there have been people that I have been able to talk to via comments that I know for a fact have stuck it out in some podcasts because of what they're talking about. And I'm like, holy shit, they made it that deep. Mm-hmm. To me, that one person is worth more than 10,000 people watching the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's I love that,
and that's what I mean is that this is more of, again, I have the opportunity. I have a decent phone that can take footage. Mm-hmm. Now granted, I did not use this setup for the video I took tonight for mine, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
People start off like that all the time. It has nothing to do, again, with trying to just be like filthy rich off of it or like become the next, I don't even know who would be the biggest YouTuber, but you know what I mean? Like, it has nothing to do with that. This is just fun.
Yeah.
It's fun things. We do dumb things. We do fun things. You can nerd out with a bunch of people. I can nerd out with a bunch of people. We have our differences on like what we like or what we can really get in depth with. But that's the thing, is that there is other people on this platform that you can do that with. And regardless of, like you were saying, you know, with the people that you were talking to, you don't care that they have 100,000 subscribers. You just like the fact that they're going to talk to you about something that you thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's going to be more than one person. You know, you have a group discussion.
I try my best to remind myself consistently about like the times that I have been fortunate enough to meet somebody of like celebrity status or, you know, like, or I've been able to actually like interact with them. There was I think I may have mentioned it before, but there was a lead singer that I got to talk to who was from like an up and coming band. It was on the Awake Tonight tour. It was House of Heroes, Skillet, and Toby Mac. It was like, you know, the like, you know, three main, you know, huge bands at that point. And essentially he was standing over at his booth kind of by himself because, like, you know, he wasn't that big of a band yet. And I recognized him, and the guy played wicked, you know, guitar. He, you know, like sounded great, you know, like everything that he did was amazing on stage. And, I went over and just kind of chatted with him. I mean, this is also like, you know, 19-year-old Kyle. So like, you know, this is a whole different thing. And, at one point we realized we had been talking for like an hour.
Oh, wow.
Because like nobody else was around. I was just like, hey man, I'm like, I want you to know, like, I genuinely really enjoyed your set. I'm like, you guys did a fantastic job. I'm like, you got very much like Heat and Cambria vibes. I'm like, you're playing leads while you're singing. I'm like, I get that, man. Like, I respect that. And obviously he's like, I assume you're a guitar player. And I'm like, I am, you know, I'm like, so that's kind of how it started. But, I had a cup that I got from that venue, and he was like, well, do you want me to sign something? And I was like, oh, I'm like, dude, getting to meet you was enough, bro. I'm like, don't worry about like doing that. And he's like, just let me sign something. He's like, I think he just really wanted to sign something. And I'm like, all right, man, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it was cool. I mean, some other people came up after that, and he was able to sign some more autographs. So,
that's
but cool. it was just cool. Like, it was one of those things where like, I didn't give a shit. It was cool enough just to talk with him.
Yeah. You were just talking and having a good time. You didn't let the fact that even though he wasn't maybe super famous, but to you, he was famous enough that you were like, I like your stuff.
It's like, because I had just seen him perform for 50,000 people on stage, even though he was an opener, you know, and it was like not that big of a band. I don't even know if House of Heroes is even like, you know, still out. I haven't listened to them.
It might not be, but still.
But yeah, it's just all throughout those rabbit trails and rabbit holes. Like it's one of those things where like, I remember specific people. I remember faces of, you know, people talking. I mean, I was on my big, you know, atheism creation, you know, kick at that point where I was like, you know, apologetics. Like, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to conquer YouTube. And like, I made YouTube videos, challenging atheists. And like, it was like, I would get thousands of messages from people like just ripping me apart. Like, and it was like this whole thing. Oh yeah. There was like a whole like dark era of my YouTube like journey. Like,
really?
Oh yeah. I thought because I read one of Ken Ham's pamphlets at church that I was able to stump any evolutionist and realize that there are transitional fossils and science is kind of accurate. So I need to, you know, pay attention to that. So you know, it was that kind of thing. And it was really crazy, like the people that I got to see, because I got to see a side of YouTube that doesn't really exist anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I remember specifically the one that always comes back to me was that there was one of a guy that was debating against the existence of God, but he was actually a sadist. But it was interesting to hear him talk, like, you know, because he was very, very aggressive against the idea of the Bible, and like, was like, you know, God's a piece of shit, like all that stuff.
Of course he was.
Right. But in the same hand, he's like, do you understand? He's like, I am hateful towards, you know, everything that is religion. He's like, I think it's the dumbest idea ever, and that our father, you know, Satan is going to, you know, like, you know, overthrow, you know, everything.
So
and
then isn't that a religion?
So, well, no, he would go from sadist to Satanist. And so it was like this idea. I don't know if like I'm not well versed enough to know like whether or not they're one and the same or whatever, but
for him, like that's.
Yeah, but the thing is that he was basically making the point of saying that, he's like, I'm not a piece of shit. He's like, I treat my girlfriend fine. He's like, I work, in the public and everything. He's like, I am a sadist. He's like, does not mean that that I have to be like a certain way that people think that I am. He's like, I'm a sadist when it comes to certain things. So it was, whether I'm not saying he was right or wrong. I
get it.
But it was just like, that's the stuff that I ran into, was that it was people when they have a camera and they have the ability to say whatever they want, you're going to get everything in the world.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. But
that's very true.
Right. So literally you have people, we've said it before, but like people that make cat videos, and it's just like, okay, it's like, that's awesome that you guys are, making, money off of something that's,
a cat doesn't even know what it's doing.
Yeah. It's just, but nevertheless, I figured we'll go ahead and get the ball rolling as far as some of my favorite YouTubers, and we'll probably and yours as well. But we'll probably have some honorable mentions here and there, and I think one of them for sure you're going to bring up. So that's why I didn't include them on my list. But in the same hand, if they're not, we'll still definitely make sure we honorably mention them. But kind of stereotypical, kind of just like, hey, this is whatever. But Good Mythical Morning, Good Mythical Morning is a channel that I realized that, and it's so cliche and it's so dumb, but it's like that Rhett and Link literally are just themselves.
Yeah.
That's, there's not this big facade. There's not like, it's just, they've gotten, bigger. Obviously they're, multimillionaires now, but they're great.
They do it very well. And that is kind of one of mine as well. Mm-hmm. I figured there was probably going to be 2 or 3 that we had. That is one of the that's probably one of the first YouTubers that like you kind of showed me something that not maybe necessarily the first one, but maybe the first one that caught my attention. And that was definitely something that put me in the mindset of, okay, there's more of that like this out there.
Yeah.
And maybe not the exact same thing, but like you said, you give somebody a camera, give somebody technology, and then you'll get anything.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. So yeah, I agree with you too, that they are just themselves, and that's what makes it really good.
Like think about this. This is a duo of guys that came up with the idea, of being your mythical best. It's like, and that's just, it's nuts to me. Like, it's like, like who thinks like that? Like, the mythical beasts are the fans, and it's like how we have our hearies and viewies, and like, it's like YouTubies. And it's just, it blows my, I feel like a villain right now. I'm petting Piper. Like, yes, Mr. Bonds, before I kill you, I'll tell you my plan. I'll tell, I couldn't even fucking make English right there. I'll tell you my plan. No, but, it's just, because the way that I remember Rhett and Link when like I first started watching them was that Sammy actually showed me them the folk song they did, which was a drive-through order at Taco Bell. And this guy was so good at working the drive-through. Like we're talking like it was like, I want a taco soft like a cloud. I think
I watched that.
Yeah, then like it's like the next line is like, I want crunchy. I like to eat loud. Like it's like this, like that's how the song went. And this guy got every single one of their items correct, and even remembered the context of it. They said, and 2 taco salads for our senoritas. And then
I do remember that
when he repeated it back, he's like 2 taco salads for the ladies. And
yes.
I think they ended up racking up like a $50 bill or something.
To me, sometimes I wonder if that is one of those where they, honestly, if I did that, I would go in, because I've worked fast food.
Yeah.
And it's not that guy isn't on it or like he couldn't do that, but to me, something of that nature, I would be like, okay, I know it's a pain in the ass, but for 2 reasons, I would go like right before they close and be like, hey, look, I'm going to come in. I'm going to do this for this channel. I'm not going to, back up a bunch of people for you guys. Number 1, right. Number 2, it's right at night, like, and then give them everything. Like, this is what I need.
Right. It's
So I often wonder if that really happens like that.
Oh no, I mean, from everybody that has worked with them and or just like also them too, like you can tell by the look on their faces, they're like, so we actually have to pay. Like we just came through to sing a song to them and then be like, haha, we're gonna make money and there's views. It's like, no, like they actually
got it.
So they brought like all this food home. So it's just
That's
like
awesome.
So
They better have ate it all.
Didn't get to see all the aftermath, but
man, that would have been awesome.
but no, I mean, Good Mythical Morning. I mean, especially like listening to they have their podcast, Ear Biscuits.
Okay.
That they talk on, and they do very much like what we do as far as like they have the Spotify version and they have a video version. It's like, I mean, just like
That's
Joe
cool.
Rogan and all that stuff. And I shared a bit with you about like the spiritual deconstruction that Rhett and Link went through, and it was very eye opening.
Yeah.
To hear what Rhett, especially Rhett, had to say. Link was more so emotion driven, which is not necessarily wrong, but obviously I'm going to be more like, I want to hear the facts. I want to hear what this person has to say. I want to know why they're thinking this, and so
hopefully they did more more in depth one.
Yeah. Well, it's Rhett's was very, very, very much in depth. It was just that they did an episode
I didn't watch all of it.
Well, no, it was essentially what they did was that they both had their own episodes. So Rhett was able to basically tell his side of things of why he has chosen the path that he has, and like scientifically, spiritually, like everything. And then Link pretty much did the same thing, except for he did a lot of storytelling, like of like how he ended up where he was, like, because they used to be missionaries back in the day.
Okay.
So like they were heavy in the church. So it's like they're two Bible Belt, growing, Southern boys that moved out to LA, and they've made a name for themselves. Like it's insane. So, but anyway, I could talk about Rhett and Link all night.
Quick question: is my camera still on?
Oh yeah, we're still. I've been peeking every now and then. So we had an issue the past episode with it not working, but we should be fine now.
Technology, ironically.
Yeah. So what's your first one?
Because I know that it's got to be the last two, or not last two, but the other two that I'm thinking of. So we'll get to those later. So I'm weird. I don't want to say weird, but I know a lot of people watch them. Obviously, they're famous. But one of my favorites is a reaction channel, and it's No Life Shaq.
Oh, dude, I love Shaq, dude. Shaq is the man, dude. I love it.
He is really funny. He's so good at, I clicked on him. I forget why. Oh, I think it was an Upchurch reaction. And I used to love watching, just reactions to him because, he's a hillbilly, but he's a rapper. Well, he does everything, but
yeah,
it was just always the shock, so I clicked on him and I was instantly hooked.
Yeah.
He just had a good presence with his audience, even when he was still big even then, but he's reached like almost 1.5 million subscribers. Mm-hmm. Like he's almost in the 2 millions, but there was just something about it. Like he did a lot of stuff that I liked. It wasn't just like certain artists, but he does like a hairband Monday or something like that. I think it's called. And he loves the stuff like Ozzy's his new favorite, and things that he's never heard. And it's awesome. And he truly gets into the music. He listens like when it's rap, he listens to the lyrics and, and everything. And then he breaks it down for people that are watching. And then same thing with, if it's country or if it's, his heavy metal day, or his, rock band day, it's awesome. And he gives an honest opinion, which he should, but it's just very genuine.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of comedy to go with it. So it's just, it draws me in, and I love seeing a new video pop up like, oh, what did he review now? And it's just a 15-minute, like, just getaway with him. And you probably hear me out there laughing all the time in the garage.
Oh, yeah. It is... No Life Shaq is one of those guys that I was not too sure about when I first started watching him, because it was, he wasn't really digging what I was watching him react to, and I loved it. So,
he'll give you his honest opinion.
Yeah, and I respect that very much, because I don't want somebody to bullshit me. But Essentially. Get the yawn out. So I know essentially, what made me really, really, really love watching him was when he reacted to Falling in Reverse's Popular Monster, which is the video where he turns to the werewolf, and you know, it's that whole thing, and it was the way he just would run away from his mic. He's like, "Why are you yelling at me?" he's like, "I did nothing to you." Like, you know, it's like still like every time like there's like a screaming part or something. Like, it's
that's what I mean. Like it's how he does his entire setup, everything. It's like its own little sitcom for your 15, 20 minutes, and it's great. So, and again, a lot of the reason of me finding stuff that I have, maybe not the people, but it really was because you, and I think Alan was another person that kind of opened me up to other things than just music per se. But definitely a lot of the stuff that I would see you watch was like, oh, okay, this is funny, or no, this is really interesting, and I just realized, like I said, there was more out there, and Shaq was probably one of the first few people. And then, mom got a hold of me one day and she said, have you ever seen something about, this is an honorable mention, Laid Back.
Oh, Laid Back DFR, dude.
And yes. I was like, yeah. And then I said something about, she said No Life Shack, and she's like, do you know about No Life Shack? And I was like, how do you know about No Life Shack?
Dude, she loves watching the brothers react to the metal and everything. Yes. Dude, it's great, man.
And
it's too good.
She said the same thing. She's like, I love watching him.
They're great.
And he was like, I love watching both of them do their thing because they are very genuine. But so yes, that was my first one. These are in no particular order.
Yeah, let's be clear. Yeah, this is
no particular order, but he was the first one that automatically popped out. Like, okay, favorite YouTubers. So again, I apologize. I know that again, a lot of these are kind of newer people, even, or like a newer thing. But I just kind of got hip to it. So
well, I mean, it's to me. I don't think there's anything wrong with that because it's like I remember talking to a friend of mine and saying, dude, I tried to get into the music that you sent me, man, but I can't, dude. I'm like, I got to stick to my metal, like at that point. And he said, man, everybody loves what they like, man. Or one likes what they like, and loves what they love. So, the next one that I chose the five of these that I wanted to sift through and that I was like, man, I'm like, I really got to think about how I want to do this. But, without a doubt, I could not include Mr. Repzion.
Oh,
that's Mr. Repzion or Repzion, however you want to say him, which is not he's not connected with Repzilla, which is another YouTuber. So, but they both do the same kind of thing. They cover drama. They cover the newest thing, like when it comes to YouTubers, things like that. But
not to be confused.
Correct. No, but Mr. Repzion was actually a Christian who became an atheist.
Right.
And it was very interesting to see his channel evolve and like how he went from like, he went from being a Christian that would battle against feminism or like the ideas of feminism and like the ideas of evolution, or like, against atheists or whatever. But he then was a theistic evolutionist, and then at that point became just an agnostic, or an atheist. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, his story is something crazy. He's been through a lot of personal trauma from his childhood and everything. So a lot, like I remember seeing a video from him that it was the thumbnail. He had been crying. And it was, I think the video was called something to the effect of like a message to my rapist. And it was him reacting to a woman that had been violated. And she was finally like, she couldn't talk to this person face to face. So she turned on the camera and got very, very specific and very, from what I understand, graphic about it because she needed to. And he watched it and it was just like that struck very home with him. I mean, you can find Mr. Repzion's videos. He's very open about, what's happened, in his childhood and everything. But it's so interesting to see how he has overcome a lot of the bullshit that people would throw at him because he has a speech impediment. And he will screw up words that are very, very simple. And it's like, but even then, like he has a speech impediment, but he is very intelligent. Like, it's like he is like,
that doesn't mean he's dumb.
Well, no, but it's just a lot of people would associate one with the other, you know.
I got you.
But no, so I knew him from back in the day with, like, you know, when he was a Christian and everything. But then
when you started watching, like over like the years, yeah.
Well, more so recently was the whole Onision bullshit that was going on, and that still is. Which actually Repsion did post a video today of him reacting to Onision's OnlyFans, which is a thing. But that's oh my God. Anyway, I'm not even gonna get into it. It's not even worth it's not worth my minutes on this time right now. No, Repsion, like I've actually like fallen asleep listening to his videos because like he does such a great job of defending and like in exposing things, and even then you can't even say exposing because it's stuff that's already online anyway, especially when it comes to like Onision.
Oh, sure.
But Mr. Repsion, he's on there.
He just does it. He does it the way you like it.
He is he's a big comic book nerd. He gave his honest opinions about Infinity War and Endgame, and actually there's a video of him watching the Force Awakens trailer when it first came out, and he cried while he watched it. Like he loves Star Wars. Like it's like that's like his like one of his main things, and that's why he was very disappointed with the new trilogy. But
I'm not a big Star Wars fan, even like in general. Like,
I mean, it's
the older ones are all right, but I mean,
I am your father. But no, yeah. So Mr. Epsilon, without a doubt, I had to include him. So because that's a big deal.
That makes sense. Like you watch more YouTube, I feel like, than I do. I'm old school. When I go to bed at night, or if I'm watching stuff, with the exception of something I'm going to talk about here in a minute, I watch, Fire Stick or Netflix or something. Like I watch like a TV show or like a movie real quick. Mm-hmm. I don't really watch stuff like that at night, with the exception of, well, I don't want to say with the exception of, but for the most part, with the exception of, her name is GB. Now, if you guys have listened to any of the other podcasts, or I don't know if they were actually videoed at that time, but I am one of those people that likes it's called the ASMR.
Yep.
So,
which I've tried to get into it, and I can't. It's awkward for me.
I wonder. Well, you kind of do with what you listen to down here.
Well, yeah, but it's like
it's a different style. That to you is what the ASMR that I listen to does for me. So with that being said, there's actually two. I'll get them both kind of in here. It is a little awkward for this one because she's younger. Her name is Gracie K, though. I don't even think she's 18 yet.
Oh, wow.
She's got like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and she is just really good at it. They do a lot of the triggers that I like, and that's where I really got into it, because my big ones are like nail tapping, and then certain female like voice whispers,
right?
And they just have it. Like they have the like the best combo, and those are like my go-tos constantly if I can't sleep, or if I'm just like really stressed out. I've listened to them at work.
Yeah. I could see that.
I've listened to them at work, whether it be on my break or just when I've gotten a few minutes and it's been a bad day or just a long day. I've done that, and sometimes I have to catch myself because it'll start putting me out. And
wow.
It's this like tingle that comes over your body. That's the whole point of it. But with their channels, they obviously, part of it is visual, and they are just really good at their visuals, their sounds, how they whisper, what they tap on, what they scratch on, or whatever it is in the video. So that, to me, that was huge. That was a huge attraction for me. And I found that I was sleeping not a lot better, but I was sleeping a little better when I would do that. And I didn't know that you could do stuff like that on YouTube.
Yeah,
I didn't know that you could do, rainwater all night or
YouTube is so convenient.
I never thought about it.
Yeah, especially like when you look at people that, will role play when they do ASMR.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. GB does that.
She does that? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Man, she's awesome. So if either one of them by chance see this, man, like, thank you. Honestly, like, you've done wonders for me. It's been great, and they've just, and Gracie K, I don't really think does per se. It's been a while since I've watched her, but GB pops up a lot for me.
Yeah.
And, oh yeah, she's great. Like, she nails almost every single person that she is doing. And it's fantastic. Now, some of the stuff I don't get into,
yeah,
but it doesn't matter. It's just what she's doing. It has nothing to necessarily do with like what she looks like, but she's very easy on the eyes. So it helps.
The one that actually, I mean, it's going to come as no shock, but I think the only one that I actually attempted to watch because I was like, okay, I want to know how good this girl's going to do with like what she's claiming with her title, and it was Ellie Takes Care of You from The Last of Us.
Was it GB?
Probably. I couldn't even tell you what her name was, but it was kind of weird because it was like I guess if I was into the ASMR the way that you are, like in that aspect, I probably would have been really, really cool for me because it would have been super submersive. But in the same hand, it was just kind of like, man, like she was quoting certain things from the game, and I was just like, it just wasn't landing for me. I was like, I don't know. But however, everything else she did was very, very good. Like, I actually didn't even know she had a green screen. Like, I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, her compositing is fantastic.
She was just probably trying to do it for the trigger. They call the trigger reasons. That's why it probably sounded weird to you when she was saying like lines or whatever. But another big one for me too, that her, and I think Gracie's done before, but like haircuts. Like,
oh yeah,
people getting like fades and things like that. That's another one. That to me, that's visually like I like that.
Yeah.
Just to see like that clean coming when you're, like coming off of the razor and stuff. So that there's that. And then the fact of them, like whispering or doing whatever it is that they're doing. So that was always big for me, but yeah. So those two, I'll have to. You have me interested. I'm gonna have to check now if that was her, because she's a huge like nerd like that. Mm-hmm. So it probably was.
No, and she did. She looked a lot like her. Like it was even like she had the freckles down. She had the jacket, like everything like that. That was the main reason why I clicked on it, because I was like, man, like if she takes that seriously, like I want to know what her final product is like. That
is a YouTuber that those types of YouTubers, not that none of them don't deserve to make a good living off of, but those are the type of YouTubers that I encourage and hope that they make a plethora of money, kind of, because they really do help people. That is something that people with bad insomnia, and like, I'll read the comments on a lot of these, and it's same thing after same thing that, and it's people just like me that it's like, oh my God, thank you. Like, oh man, this part right here and blah, blah, blah. Like it really is its own like little community. And, like you said, also when they do the dressing up and stuff is really cool too.
Yeah.
And that's how she gets the money for it. She takes the money that she, gets from her channel and stuff, and she spends it on her channel.
Yeah.
And still lives a good life. But, it's just, that's the thing, is that's the kind of stuff I like to see. So what do you got?
Well, I'm going to save him for last. Okay.
I think I might know who it is.
Probably.
Does his last name start with an S? Oh, no.
No. Oh. No. Now I'm curious as to who it is. Starts with an S.
just let's go.
Okay. No, I'm just, you got me wondering.
Good.
No, so I was really trying to choose somebody that I know for a fact that I watch consistently and I get excited whenever he uploads a new video. And it's Boogie2988. And a lot of people dislike him because of some of the things that he has said in the past. He has dealt with depression, anxiety, and has said some really, really dumb things in his past. And he acknowledges it and he talks about it. He's like, look, I'll be the first person to tell you that I have made the dumbest mistakes possible. But everything from going through his gastric bypass surgery, like, that was a crazy thing for him. He has talked about his abuse stories. He has talked about, everything from, movies to video games to, all like everything that you can think of that is entertainment wise. He has commented on somewhat. And he even posted a video today talking about cancel culture. And, hello. You gonna fall?
Oh, no shit.
And yeah, it's a Piper. You causing the falling? What are you doing, honey? I know. You're just a big curious cat, ain't you? You don't know what you want to do. No, but Boogie has just a very, very unique way of making videos. And I found him because he did the whole Francis Rages, all that stuff. And when I saw him do a video when it was just him talking, it really threw me for a loop. I'm like, what? Why isn't he freaking out? And finally he was like, look, Francis is a character that I do. And then it all clicked for me and I went, okay. I'm like, so he literally can do both. Yep. That's why I enjoy having the ability to do scary stories on this channel, but also we podcast every Friday.
You have a variety of things that can appeal to more than just one crowd.
Yeah. And it's really, really interesting to, see that. But in the same hand too, Boogie also, has gone through a lot in his adult life, and there was a lot of stuff that I related to that he went through, and it was just very interesting to see, how he would bring it up, to his channel and how he would say things. Again, he wouldn't always handle it properly, but in that way, I relate to him. I relate to him a lot, how he messes up his words, how people will, get offended by what he says, and it's things like that. Like it's kind of a very weird part of YouTube for me. So it's very interesting.
Again, that's that whole part of when you don't realize that YouTube can be like that. That's what I mean. Like, I didn't realize you could use YouTube to help yourself.
Yeah.
I really kind of just looked at it as music and how to do things.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I looked at it. And it's refreshing to hear other people use it for stuff like that, where you kind of use it as you use him as a motivation.
Yeah. It's,
you use him as something to, know you're not alone at what you're going through or something like that. So that's great. That's, what it should be. That's what it's, in a sense, it's free.
Yeah.
It's free advice. It's free, anything to where you can hear other people talk about their struggles or their journeys or their whatever. And so, yeah, that is, like I said, that's refreshing to know that more people do stuff like that other than just like me and listen to music.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit, you're branching out too. So there's, especially with, I believe one of the things that you may have on your list. So that's, I'm assuming, but we'll get there. But so what is next on your list of things?
So one of mine is, I guess probably the one you're talking about then. I would imagine this one, the LA Beast.
Yep. Yes.
So
Kevin, the LA Beast from New Jersey.
Oh man. That and then the last, I guess one of my last ones, those are probably the two favorites other than a quote reaction channel that I guess, like a Shaq or even, the ASMR. So LA Beast for me is probably, it's hard to say if it's my favorite over the other ones I was going to say. Mm-hmm. So it's tough. That is just entertainment at its finest.
And not clickbait, by the way.
I guess, yes.
Yeah.
Both of the ones I'm talking about, like they're both almost identical as far as like how I could describe it. So, and you were the one to show me, LA Beast. So,
right.
Oh man, like I can't get over him. I think about stuff that he does probably 5-6 times a week.
Yeah, it's seeing the balls that he has to do what he does. Like, I mean, the spoiled milk thing was just like, oh my God. Like, it's just, the LA Beast is a YouTuber, if you're not familiar, that does insane food challenges, and he will not back down from anything. The motherfucker ate 3 cactuses, ate real cactuses, and showed the aftermath.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. It's just number one, he is a very, very, very genuine dude. Like from people that have said that they've met him to the way that he does his videos. Like even the video of him, like when he said that he needed a break because he was burnt out, and he's like, "Look, I'm an honest guy." He's like, I did
see that one.
It's just like I love when YouTubers do that. I love when it's just like, look, it's like it's kind of the Corey Taylor mentality of like, look, you are my fans, and the last thing I'm going to do is lie to you.
Yeah.
And I love when there's that respect.
And that's what he did. And you can't knock somebody for, man, the shit that dude does. I'd need a break too.
Putting his body through absolute hell. I mean, it's his vomiting alone is just like, I'm not trying to be gross for anybody that's listening, but it's like he has done everything from eat 7 jars of mayonnaise. He has eaten an entire 1 liter like glass thing of kombucha. He has done, he even, I think, chugged 3 liters of olive oil. Like he just God,
I don't think I saw that one.
No, that one was age restricted because we were having YouTube issues, so we couldn't access it for a while. But just like he just will not stop. Like he wants to be sure that he is providing, the content for his fans.
I had somebody, 2 people today watch one of the gauntlet challenges. Oh
God, those are
oh
rough.
Man, it's when he finally finished the Crystal Pepsi 2 liter.
Oh yeah, it was the
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah. Which, okay, I was telling Eric this earlier, was that he literally is trying to finish a gauntlet challenge of, it was like something like, it was just for sake of argument, it was Vegemite. He had to eat an entire thing of Vegemite. He had to chug an entire thing of sriracha.
Eat a whole thing of mayonnaise.
Eat a whole thing of mayonnaise.
Drink lemon juice. It was
horrible.
I think he drank honey mustard or Dijon mustard.
Oh no, it was the spiciest mustard on the planet.
Yeah, and then there was dog food.
Ugh.
The can of fucking dog
so
food.
Dumb. It's so dumb. I just
And then there was something else, but then he topped it off with the last 2, like the last of his Crystal Pepsi that he bought online for $112.
Which is, if you guys there's a good way to know if you're willing to sit through an LA Beast video, and it's just watch him chug the 20-year-old Crystal Pepsi. It's that small little bottle that he got, and he was like, this is delicious. He's like, it's just like how I remember. And it's like 10 minutes later, he just threw it up because it was just, it had turned brown. Like it had a brown tint to it. Like it's like that. He just didn't give a shit. He just chugged it right down. It's that is the LA Beast. Like he is the LA Beast, and he will do what he wants.
He's a man. Like that's a man right there. Like he is. Like you say, he's not clickbait.
Mm-mm.
It's if it says, he's going to eat 6 cactuses or attempt, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that is definitely a very, very, very top YouTube channel for me. What's wrong?
Nothing. I'm just doing a little sneak preview like I did last time. So this is going to be something that's going to go on Facebook. That's where it's at right now. People are listening to it. So we're talking about our favorite YouTubers tonight. This is a little teaser for everybody.
Absolutely.
So, but we just got done talking about the LA Beast and how much we love what he does and everything to that effect. But it's genuinely just, he's one of the good guys of YouTube.
Oh yeah,
without
definitely.
a doubt.
He really is. So that I'm glad that was definitely one of them for you. And I think that is something I probably watch him at least once a day.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. He is I try my best to make sure that I like all the videos that I haven't liked of his yet. And like, cause I know that goes very far. Like, it's like that's what gets their videos, noticed. But, yeah, I just love the guy. Like, he's so cool.
It is awesome. It's a great channel. So if you guys have not checked him out, definitely go check him out. It's great. Be prepared. He does puke a lot. So if that is something that you don't like at the end, just know to just turn it off, but watch it. It's great.
He usually gives warnings. Like he'll be like, hey, like the vomit warning on this video. Like, know, that's the thing, which I mean, I hate puking and I love watching his videos.
I know. That's why I was so shocked. So, all right. So what do you got?
Okay. I believe I have gone through except for 2. So I definitely want to end with one in particular on mine, but the next one is Deep Fat Fried.
Okay.
That and I love what they do because it's essentially what I've wanted to do. I've wanted to, podcast and talk about whatever I want and have a place that I know for a fact that, it's kind of like, hey, anything goes here. I can say what I want. I can, do what I want. And they basically took that mentality and cranked it to 1 million. And it's like Deep Fat Fried consists of The Amazing Atheist, which is TJ Kirk, who I've grown to really, really enjoy his videos. And then Paul Zigo, who is one of the guys that runs Cinema for Cynics, and he also runs Deep Fat Fried. And then they have TJ's brother, Scotty, that's on the show. And I always kind of looked at it where I was like, man, I'm like Scotty I felt like kind of just got thrown in there, kind of shoehorned, but he holds his own against the rest of them too. Like, cause they're all cynical, just neckbeards, and they just don't give a shit what anybody thinks.
They are pretty good. They are pretty good.
Oh my God. Like everything from hearing about how Scotty lost his virginity to like, the grossest, injury that TJ ever had. And like, the podcast they did about spiders where Paul was so disturbed by one of the videos they were showing of this this mouse being eaten by this big tarantula, and he ended up naming the mouse Rupert. And he was like watching it, like commentating, like, Rupert, listen to me. You need to listen to me very, very carefully right now. Do not go near that thing. I understand. Rupert, you're not listening. Rupert.
I saw that one too, actually.
And it just gets taken down. He's like, Rupert, no. Oh my God, it was great.
No, they are very good. They get very in depth with what they talk about. They are very passionate about what they talk about. And I disagree with a lot of the stuff they say. Not like, I guess like movie related.
Yeah.
That's where like,
they ripped apart it, chapter 1 and 2 and
just some of the other stuff I've seen or like briefly heard. It's like, you fucking idiots.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that's how they feel.
Yeah.
Like, just because they don't like the new It or, whatever it is, does not mean that their channel isn't good.
No, that's why I loved when they were consistently posting on Cinema for Cynics, because it was this idea of that it's like Paul is a just downright cynical bastard. Like that's his mentality on everything. Like life is just meaningless to him, and it's like that is something that's like he takes it. Thing. Well, right, and it's so interesting to see how he goes at things from such an unbiased thing where he's like I already thought I was going to hate this, and he's like this is what I thought, and he doesn't even rate movies with like stars or anything. He basically tells you watch it or don't. He doesn't. He is a very cut dry person, and he is kind of bland in the way that he talks. But in the same hand, is that it's still cool to see him dive into it because he is so intelligent. So it's awesome.
I like the way you said that. Like he doesn't. He kind of goes in already thinking like he's going to hate something. I remember one day at work when I worked with Real, and we talked about when somebody says like, oh, this movie's badass or it's blah, blah, blah. He goes, when I think about that, it like sways my judgment. I feel like, he said, I try to look at a movie, whether it's a preview or if somebody's told me something about it, to where when I go and watch it, I'm going to take it as I just need to see this.
Yeah.
Because if I sit there and go, this movie's going to suck, well, then it's probably going to suck because I've already put that in my mind. Or if somebody's like, this movie's banging, you're like, yeah, this movie's banging, and you go in, you see it, and you're hyped about it, it might sway your judgment a little bit. If you go in with a level-minded about whatever it is you're going to watch, maybe a band you're going to listen to, something of that nature, you either, like, just like he said, you either like it or you don't.
Yeah. And he is a very, very, very simple guy. And even made a video on his rating scale as to why he will never use anything but what he has chosen. And it's like, he's like, people really get offended by it. He's like, personally, I don't give a fuck. But he's like, but secondly, he's like, this is how I run things. He's like, if I'm going to review a movie, the whole purpose of a film is for it to be watched.
Yeah.
So do I want you to waste your time, or do I think, you'll enjoy it? Like, there's been movies that he has not liked, but he's like, I can look past myself and know that there is something to enjoy in this.
Yeah.
Watch it. Like, he's like, decide for yourself.
Exactly.
But no, like, it was so interesting to hear the three of them talk about Infinity War, because they're so cynical. They hate everything, and they did nothing but just suck this movie's, dick. Like, they were like, this is more so Thanos. Like, they were talking about how good he was. And they're like, yeah, like, this movie is far from perfect. Like, it's got a lot of flaws, but they're like, dude, like, this is such a ballsy thing for Marvel to do.
And that's what I mean. Like, when you can still appreciate it, you know, for what it is. So,
but yeah, Deep Fat Fried, without a doubt, like this, they're how I start my morning. I wake up, I get my coffee.
No, that is very true.
As this, because even like their intro, they talked about, like, it's that whole deep fat fried. It just repeats the same thing over and over again. And they said the reason they chose that was because they wanted to go back to, like, the 90s, like, really cheesy, kind of thing.
And I like it. I do. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. Yeah. Why don't we end, or go ahead and do your last one? Because I feel like we should end on, like, a good note, because I feel like this one is a little more, and I think now I might know who it is.
Okay. I'll let you try it out too. Who do you think it is?
What's his face? To Catch a Predator guy.
Chris Hansen?
Yeah.
No, it's not Chris Hansen.
Oh.
I've actually got I'm going to be careful with how I say this. No, I'm just going to say it. I'm pretty sure that Chris Hansen's full of shit with the whole Onision thing, because he said he was going to be putting him away with, like, like, working with the FBI and, like, that whole deal. Repsion actually posted something on his Twitter and said that there is a lot of shady shit that's gone on with Chris Hansen and his, like, team of people that so, for instance, one of the things that they're saying is that he has taken everybody's stories that has basically talked about Onision, and there are victims that have opened up about things, whether it's Shiloh or if it's anybody else, and he sold the rights to the, I guess, I don't know, like, to the case, or, like, whatever, like, I don't know. It's so weird. Like, they worded it so differently, but now Chris Hansen came out on Twitter and said this is all fake. He's like, this is ridiculous. I would never do this. But Mr. Repsion said, I just got a bunch of evidence, and he said, I am willing to release it at whatever time is necessary. Over the situation. Okay. So, how much I revere, Daniel on Mr. Repsion. It's like he is accurate, like, indefinitely. Always.
Okay, like, so accurate, I figured it was that. So then, well,
it's not Chris Hansen, but now this guy that I am going to refer to, has in fact done stuff very similar to what Chris Hansen has done, and some people believe that he is fake. They
think he's fake.
They think he's fake. They think that what he does is not real. And what I will say is this: is that either way, the entertainment factor and how he does it is so amazing, and it's Lieutenant Lickme.
Yeah, okay.
Lieutenant Lickme is, God, I did not realize that somebody could do that on YouTube, and it's kind of like that how you were talking about, like, the other stuff that you've seen, where it's like it opens your mind. Lieutenant Lickme, literally, I've commented on his video before, and I'm like, you are the Hollywood of YouTube. Like it was there was a an entire episode of one of the things that he did with online trolling. That's essentially what he does, is that he will mess with people on multiplayer, like when people are playing on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, all that stuff.
He's funny.
He is, but his shit got dark like real quick.
Oh, really?
He takes down a child groomer at one point, and literally you actually kind of at one point start to feel really bad for this guy because of what he's doing to him. He
really,
dude, it's like, but then you remember, you're like, dude, he tried to get naked photos from this 5-year-old or this or 11-year-old or whatever it was beforehand. So it's like, okay, well, no, then I don't feel bad for him. But like, I've never heard somebody hyperventilate, panic, and freak out the way this guy does.
You're talking about the guy that does the thing where it's like, where it's like, I didn't say anything about hitting for parachutes. Everybody hit square.
Oh, no. That sounds like pizza. That's no. Lieutenant Lick Me is.
I thought you were talking about him.
No. Lieutenant Lick Me. He did the voice trolling for like what Deadpool, and I'm showing Eric on my phone right now to jog his memory.
Okay, but, I think I know what you're talking about.
He made the Watchers. The where essentially it was he will take on the persona of Anonymous, or he will do Pennywise, he'll do Deadpool, and all of his characters sound exactly like they do in the movies and like in the stuff it's based off of. But what's crazy is that again, if it's real, if it's not, whatever, you can make up your own decision with what I'm about to tell you. But for instance, in the groomer episode, he forces this guy to basically, because he has his address, he has his whereabouts as far as his work, knows his family, has everything. So I don't know who exposed this guy and gave it to him, but he had all of the chat rooms and usernames he was using to lure children. And he basically said, "You're going to do everything I tell you, or everything everything that I'm talking about will go public. So choose your next words very wisely." And it was just like, this guy has no choice. And what it was that it turns out to be a big fake out moment, but essentially it was that Lieutenant, under the personification of the Watchers, he basically said, "Read this poem or the story, and if you read it good enough, you'll get some time towards your end goal." And which it was like a Saw game by the end of it, like of how he did everything. He said the words are jumbled a bit, so it's going to take you a little bit to read what each one, but he's like, "I promise that everything will make sense eventually." So he did, and he was taking his time reading this. While he's doing that, some guy was recording his audio and recut it to him saying, "Honey, can you put Lucy on?" Lucy is his daughter, and says, "Hey, send me a naked photo of you." And did it to basically be like, so it's like you just asked your own daughter for naked photos, and she's 7 years old. How did that feel? Like, and it's like that's he messes with messes with people mentally, and it's like that's people.
That's interesting.
People are like, they're like, dude, like Lieutenant's out here doing God's work, dude. Like he is like, it's just.
I wonder how he got it. I wonder who he's got to be able to like clip it that fast.
He has like literally what's called the Lieutenant Army. Is that he has, for instance, there was a guy that as the Watcher that essentially this guy was copycatting Lieutenant. Lieutenant never once has taken money from people, as in like blackmailed people for money. He has never physically harmed anybody. Now the persona of the Watcher says, like somebody asked him in a Q&A, they said, what if any of your clients, if you will, were to revolt back to their old ways? And he said, we would not record it for legal reasons. So but that's the persona of the Watcher. He's like, we keep a very close watch on everybody that we have
already dealt with.
He's like, we've had a very good turnover rate, so nobody's ever or a very good rate of this. But it is. I forgot what I was saying, but no, Lieutenant. He is just a fantastic YouTuber. The Lieutenant Army thing. The copycat guy. Actually, if it's true, embezzled money from somebody and quite a bit. And he's like, you basically forced him to say that he was coming out as a homosexual at a time that when that was a taboo thing. And he said, and by the way, he's like, you didn't realize it, but he was a part of the lieutenant army. And you decided to fuck with him. And he's like, and you don't fuck with our own people. Like, it's like, he's like, that's like, it's that this kid realized how in trouble he truly was.
He really was. Yeah.
But, and then again, too, like, he doesn't do this serious stuff all the time. Like, he'll do, like fun stuff where he'll like, do Deadpool, like, but like, now the guy that he went after when he was Deadpool still was an asshole and deserved it, but he didn't like make this guy want to kill himself like he did to Keith, who was in the groomer episode. Which is nuts.
He just messed with them.
Right. Well, which is nuts is that when he ended the video going after the groomer, he had text on the screen and said, for legal reasons, if Keith is contacted and asked how he is, he will say he is just fine. So and supposedly and I don't know how he does it, but he says everybody in this video has given permission for me to put it online. So I don't know whether or not like he's like forced them into it. Like, and once again, these people that he goes after when it's serious, they're all pieces of shit. So it's like I personally don't care, but dude, like the groomer one was really hard to get through. Like it's really rough, like with what he does and like how he goes about it. But somebody commented under, I think it was either that one or when Anonymous and the Watcher worked together, and they just said, dude, they're like, I just watched a fucking movie. Like, it's like, that's what Lieutenant does. Like, and come to find out too, there's like this video of like top 10 things you didn't know about Lieutenant Lick Me was that I believe he still does. He works part-time at a retail store.
Really?
Yeah. He works like, I think like 3 or 4 days a week. And he goes in and works like a 6-hour shift throughout the day.
No shit.
Because he wanted to be sure he stayed humble and that he understood and remembered where he came from.
Right.
Now, YouTube doesn't really provide him much of a living anymore, just because a lot of his stuff, is so intense that it can't be monetized. But he is currently working on something new. The original Watcher, which essentially they're like cyborgs, like that have been like that they were human at one point, but they're like
that one.
Yeah. He has the main Watcher that he had the main Watcher. Then he had a female Watcher that he made, and she is probably one of my favorite characters on his channel. She is, oh my God. Like, it's like everything from voice to acting.
I'm going to have to check this out then.
Well, the new one he's doing, he said this new video he is making that's going to come out, I think, in October, because he's working that hard on it. Like, he's getting everything done, and his, a lot of his, Lieutenant Army and people that he has were really affected by COVID. So he couldn't, make everything proper. But he said, you have experienced the Watcher, you've experienced the female Watcher, but you have not experienced the Psycho yet. He said the Watcher before has morals. This one doesn't. And it's like, oh God, like what's going to happen?
Okay.
But
I'm gonna have to catch up.
He said that this video is literally going to change his channel forever. And I have no idea what that means. I don't know like what to expect. It could be hogwash. It could be, whatever. Sure. Maybe it's just a big, clout, where it's like, hey, this is the best thing ever. It's like, no, you're just making a sequel. It's fine. No, it's just, YouTube has just completely changed from what I remember of what it was like when I was growing up. Like I said, like I was on there for ministry reasons. It's like that was like my life has drastically changed. From that point, it's like
it definitely has.
But it's wild, man. Like getting to just see where social media has taken us and like how it's all progressed. It's wild to me. And like how art has really become its own thing on YouTube, where like it's just, it's wild. Like you said, it's not just music videos.
It's not. It's
something
not.
So much more.
And these last two, I mean, because you have to group them together, but these last two idiots, and I mean that in a nice way, but. Changed the game for me for YouTube when it came to like channels, and that's this Joe and Keith Santagato.
Oh yeah, Joe Santagato. I can't believe I didn't even. Oh man, dude, Joe Santagato, dude.
And again, that was a that showed me and
Mad Libs,
the Mad Libs, and then the What'd You Says, and then stuff. Oh God, like that is another one that you can throw on having a bad day. Or even just a good day. But that is, again, where something you can just turn on for 10, 15, 20 minutes and then just laugh.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. And they're all,
I don't know, breast.
Yeah. Those, everybody I've said, I've watched episodes of the same ones like over and over again, you know, because they're that good to me. And they definitely, they deserve a YouTube channel.
They do.
They deserve a YouTube channel. Like that is the epitome of what YouTube should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is.
Especially like what I love about it too is that they're both idiots. Like, you know, like it's like, cause like you'll see Joe, like you'll look at Keith while they're laughing. He's like, you're so fucking dumb. And like, but then it's like Joe will do something twice as dumb later. Oh my God. Like they are the epitome of brothers.
They are. And that is what I think makes it so good, is that they have such a similar yet different like approach to it. And when the similarities is what makes it funny, but then the differences is how they also play off of each other too.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like it's almost kind of like it's almost like scripted, but it's not. You can't make that shit up.
No, and it's like I'm just like I made the joke about it, but like the I don't know breast thing, like it's like we're like because like Keith just did not understand what Joe was saying.
Yeah,
it's like which is tit?
Which is tit?
I don't know. Breast? No, it's not. No, that's a thing. Like he was looking for a noun, so because they were doing Mad Lib. Oh God, and like the next 4 minutes is just them
trying to get through it,
just crucified by laughter. Like it's just like
it's so.
Oh man,
it's so entertaining.
Yeah,
and like that is just something that I really hope that they keep doing what they're doing. Like that is
I
something
think they will.
Yeah, I really hope they keep doing what they're doing. I know that they have like their own they each have their channel, and then they have like a mutual one kind of, but then they each have, then he's got a podcast, and like they're doing a bunch of different things, but like their stuff together is definitely something that they need to keep doing.
Yeah.
And so I hope that they always do that, because that is something I can't live without. Like they are too funny. So that was my last one. That wasn't not even an honorable mention. Like I don't really have any. That is literally all I really watch, other than music.
Right.
You know, for the most part. Like I have other like reaction channels, but I wasn't really going to get into them. Not that they don't matter, you know, but the main ones that I watched were those. And I don't know. Like I said, it's all pretty much kind of in a sense thanks to you about how I view YouTube anymore.
Well, I mean, I'm happy that you know you've embraced that, because like it does open doors for that. But I mean, if I was gonna honorably mention any of them, Brent TV, without a doubt, a good friend of mine that's on YouTube. He makes fantastic videos.
Oh, he does. He absolutely does.
He actually did an ASMR parody one recently, and it about killed me with laughter. Oh God, it's
okay.
If you're somebody that can't take a joke,
don't watch it.
You won't.
Oh,
like
I'm definitely watching it,
because it's like if you're someone that loves ASMR and doesn't like joking about yourself or joking about like how dumb things like that you like. Oh God, you'll rip them.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna love it.
But so Brent TV is definitely one of them. Demented Pictures, that's another one. He's an up and coming guy. That's just someone that is 100,000 subscriber worthy and only has 15. Like that's like he deserves.
Yeah, I was
so much
shocked
more.
about that. I really was.
Little Light of Mine. She does tarot reading. She does horoscope stuff. But she's fantastic. Let's see here. Who else?
Tulip Mafia for me.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's like,
His Dresby bouncing around.
Yeah, it is like that. Like when you get that, like the face on him, he's just like, oh, I feel it. You know, just like,
and I love his headphones.
Yeah, it's and they always fall off. It's just,
Oh yeah, you be jamming, dude.
Oh, dude. No, but when it comes to other things, Film Riot is how I got my job. You know, they were my boss always jokes that I went to YouTube University. That's where I learned everything. You know, so I mean, there's tons more, and I'm probably gonna be mad that I didn't remember more.
Like,
but
oh man, yeah.
It's like kind of like, you know, being like, hey, like, well, what was it? Jimmy Neutron, when his dad was obsessed with like making the alphabet or what? No, he was making all pies in alphabetical order. He's like, I've made everything with like starting with blueberry, and she's like, his wife's like, what about apple? He's like, oh, apple, God. She's like, well, what about like, you know, what about rhubarb? Rhubarb. I can't believe I forgot rhubarb. It's that, you know, kind of thing, but no, it's been really cool to delve into this because, you know, ironically we're on YouTube, we talk a lot on YouTube, but we never really got to talk about YouTube.
Yeah,
so
it's just, it's one of those, again, like that is how I decompress when I come home from work, is that I pick a couple of songs and usually a couple YouTube channels to just kind of skim through and decompress for like a half hour.
Yeah.
I put my headphones on, whether I'm listening to music or not. I still watch, you know, my channels with my headphones.
Yeah. But it's one of my favorite, we talked about it before, but like one of my favorite things to do too, is that it's like, if I get myself into a groove, like with a game that I'm playing, I'll throw on like the Dr. Phil videos that I'll watch, or Mr. Repsion, I'll throw those on, or, you know, I love watching movie reviews. I know who I forgot to mention. Chris Stuckman. Chris Stuckman is actually from Cleveland, and he has over 1.5 million subscribers.
I think I know that one.
He is a movie critic, and he is a filmmaker himself. So I mean, that's one of the reasons why, like, I didn't even know he was even from like our state. I've known him as like, you know, kind of this legendary YouTuber, and he actually did an entire video he's done two videos of him talking about rude moviegoers at movie theaters. He has had the worst luck with people being very rude and very, like, you know, talkative throughout movies and stuff. And there's stereotypes that come with that, like, you know, like Ralphie May, like how he said things before, but it's just, it's one of those things where, like, he even said too, he's like, I'm not trying to say that that was the issue. He's like, my issue is that people were talking during a movie.
Right. Yeah. Like, you know, just shut up regardless.
He is somebody that respects film. He's like, when you go to a movie theater, it is to be respected. You are to view it.
We're there to watch it. Yeah.
And which the fact that even has to be said out loud, I think is
stupid.
Yeah. It's just, but it's Chris Stuckman is awesome. He's also worked with Eric Striffler, who was a really big YouTuber back in the day. He always ended every video with saying, and that's pretty much it. And when he decided to make his own bigger show with all of his friends covering media and everything, they named it Pretty Much It. So it was a really clever kind of way to go about it. And so it's just, I could go on and on. Like, there's literally hundreds of YouTubers that I watch. I ingest so much content every day, but it was very difficult for me to narrow it down to the 5 that I did, with some honorable mentions. But it's just, man,
it was.
I love this platform. Like, I wish that things were handled better. You know, that's, you know, that's a whole nother podcast, but nevertheless, though, is that I think that this was a good one. Yeah, this is fun. So we've been an hour and 20 minutes strong. So we're
I think it's time.
Yeah, I got some more sloppy joes I want to eat. Yeah. So, but either way, so we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And as always, once again, if you have not yet followed us on Spotify, make sure you do that. Also, hit that notification bell when you hit the subscribe button, and like this video, and make sure that you keep up with everything. And also, if you want to support us on Patreon, you can find us there. The link is in the description. And also, you can support us on Anchor. There's tons of ways you can take care of that. And as always, even if you don't support us that way, watching the video and listening to it, that's a fantastic way to support us too. That is for people that want to support us with a little more oomph. So, but that is not required. You are welcome just to stop in and just watch us every week when we post. So, nevertheless, though, it's been a good one. It's been fun. So I'm hungry. So I'm gonna go and jump off here and take care of some things. So, adios,
get the
guys.
fuck out.
How uptight do you have to be for them to say, get the fuck out? All right, goodbye.